The Morocco versus Belgium FIFA World Cup match saw some history being made. Morocco registered their first win after 24 years in the FIFA World Cup when they defeated the Red Devils 2-0. The celebrations demanded it because it was history created. Morocco, part of the CAF, the African Confederacy, they had beaten UEFA. Not many times CAF has gotten the better of UEFA, and so there were big celebrations all over Morocco and also in Europe. But some of the celebrations turned really hostile. Brussels was under a state of siege because the celebrations went overboard. Missiles were hurled, cars were burned, projectiles were also fired. One female journalist got injured. That's why police had to restore some law and they had to come to the streets. The pitch battle was not just in Brussels, but it was also in the Netherlands, where the celebrations went a bit too overboard. But when it comes to football, there have always been celebrations or fans that have taken the law into their hands. And sometimes the results of this has been catastrophic, to say the least. In this video, I'm going to tell you the 5 previous instances when there was intense violence in the FIFA World Cup and also other instances that saw tragedy. When you think about violence and you think about us in the modern era, okay, when was the first time we came face to face with violence in the world of football? There were past instances, but none were that documented. But the 1998 World Cup saw hooliganism and fan violence reach the ultimate crescendo. The first instance happened between England and Tunisian fans in Marseille. England, remember, had lost their opening game to Argentina, and already it was very high. The hostility, the tension was very high. When the Tunisian fans also came, the England fans who were high on alcohol started raging, and they also decided to indulge in some violence. The ensuing violence left Marseille totally in a state of panic. The British Prime Minister at that time, Tony Blair, labelled this violence as absolutely shameful. England, as you know, would crash out of the league stages itself, while Tunisia also suffered the same fate. Sticking with Marseille, and in 18 years down the line, 18 years during the Euro Championships, England and Russian fans were indulged in massive violence. The scenes here were reminiscent of the fact that Russia were always provoking the England fans, and England were also doing it vice versa. England were getting a taste of their own hooliganism from the Russians, who the ultras are very dangerous. So Marseille witnessed a lot of violence even 18 years later during the Euro Championship. England and Russia, there was so much tension in 2018 that many were praying that Russia would not have to face England in Moscow because the fan violence would be unbearable. But luckily, Russia got knocked out by Croatia, and that is why England could face Croatia in that semi-final. But the violence was at a peak at that time, with the Russian ultras in particular really reaching the fanatical zone. Marseille, England, the unholy duo? No. There was also the unholy trinity, because German hooliganism was also at its peak during the 1998 FIFA World Cup. Marseille was yet again the epicenter of violence, and in that violence, one French gendarme, which means a police escort, was injured very badly. That police escort was put in a 6-week coma, and he suffered a permanent disability because of the attacks that the German hooligans had done. Germany and England did not cover themselves in glory at all because of the way how the fans behaved outside of the pitch in France 1998. England may have mellowed down, Germany may have mellowed down, but there are instances of isolated hooliganism that continue to haunt both the teams. Morocco. Well, Brussels was a state of absolute panic, if you have to look at it, because Morocco defeated Belgium. And remember, it was a very important game for Belgium, who are now staring at elimination. They were touted as one of the favorites because of the star power that they have in the Premier League. But apart from that, they have underwhelmed in the international level. And when Morocco defeated Belgium, the celebrations merited it because it was history created. But some fans went overboard, cars were burnt, projectiles were hurled, and one female journalist got injured. There were a lot of arrests made, and police had a big task in controlling the fans there. After a brief spell, say about 2 hours of violence, calm was restored only at 7 p.m. local time there. But the damage had already been done. The celebrations ensured that the victory, the sweetness of victory would be bitter, because fan celebrations need to be respectful. It just can't involve destroying property and going overboard and firing missiles and projectiles. But perhaps the deadliest instance happened a couple of months ago in Indonesia, when one of the home teams lost that game. The fans invaded the pitch. There was violence, and in the ensuing melee where fans wanted to escape, over 130 people were killed. It remains till date one of the most violent football matches ever, and the death toll was simply too tragic to comprehend. The Indonesia violence really tops the list of football violence, where fans just went berserk. And it was bedlam in Indonesia, because the stampede was such that no one was spared. And now that is the reason why we all urge football fans or any sporting fans, celebrate with respect, just never go overboard, do not damage anything, because the team has worked hard for victory. But if fans sully that with violence, the victory does not mean anything. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Press the like, comment and share button. We are also there on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Thank you.